Hi, guys, and welcome back to my diabetes crash course. Today, we're going to be talking about why is controlling our glucose levels even important? You should not be hyperglycemic, but why does it even matter? I can't even feel it. Why do I need to care? What's so important about diabetes? Does it really affect my health? I'm going to be just really explaining the basic concepts of homeostasis and a good glucose level balance. Homeostatic regulation. The main goal of our body is to maintain equilibrium, balance, and stability. This is because our body is very picky and needs very specific conditions to function properly, like a certain temperature, heartbeat, and glucose range. A good example of this is Goldilocks and the Three Bears. It's common knowledge that a fever can be dangerous, but why? Just like Goldilocks, our body doesn't want to be too hot, too cold. It wants to be just right. And any type of death is actually rooted from a dysfunction of homeostasis in one way or another. Your heart stops beating. Well, you have a homeostatic regulation of your heartbeat. It wants to be between this and this. Heart attack, you can have it from too fast. Too slow is also bad. You know what I'm saying? That's going to be my catchphrase from now on, by the way. So, in order to sustain life, our body is constantly undergoing adaptations and millions and billions of reactions to adjust to these conditions for survival. We need to adapt, we need to maintain this certain range. So, I will give a very common example that you can think about a lot and relate to a lot, and that's thermoregulation, which is how our body maintains its temperature window to not be too hot, too cold, just right. For example, when we exercise and produce heat, our brain senses this and signals to effector organs that we need to cool down. We are getting way too hot, out of our range. Our body will begin to produce mechanisms to cool us down, like sweating, which cools our skin with evaporation. Also, our blood vessels will expand, getting closer to the surface of the skin, away from our organs to release more heat. The same exact thing happens when we're cold. Our brain senses this, communicates to other organs, and we do things to warm us up, like shiver. To summarize, our body does everything in its power to maintain equilibrium because without it, it will not be able to properly function. This is relevant to you guys if you are a diabetic or someone that's learning about diabetes because you have an imbalance of glucose. Despite what some ketosaurus has maybe told you, carbohydrates and glucose are necessary for survival. You need them. They are not your enemy. Even if you're a diabetic, I swear. Carbohydrates are broken down to glucose, which is always present in your bloodstream. If you look at this graph right here, you can see the non-diabetic versus the diabetic. The non-diabetic still has blood sugar. It is important. We need it. Glucose is the main source of energy in our brain, which explains the confusion, dizziness, and slurred speech associated with low blood sugar. Glucose is also used as energy for many bodily functions, along as being stored as glycogen in our muscles and our liver. Like everything else in our body, there is a finite range of glucose that our body performs best at. When it's too high, the typical diabetic complications arise. I have a video explaining a simplified reason of why this happens. Why does high blood sugar even make my kidneys damage? What does it even do? How does it delay healing? I have a video like that explaining why it does. If you are interested in it, and maybe it will scare you away from keeping out of the high blood sugar range. But until then, just know that when your glucose levels are too high, you are at risk for cardiac, nerve, eye, and kidney complications, along with amputations and diabetic ketoacidosis, which can lead to a coma. Bad things also happen when your blood sugar is too low, but with proper management and understanding of your diabetes, you shouldn't have to worry about as many lows compared to the amount of highs that you will have. I also have videos of hypoglycemic awareness because I feel like a lot of patients, I know, a lot of patients are so afraid of lows because these are things that you can actually feel. The common symptoms include nausea, sweating, paleness, anxiety, just not feeling well. And severe hypoglycemia can be fatal. But a lot of people are so scared because of the feeling that they feel with it, and they don't feel anything when they have high blood sugar, that they will constantly avoid lows like the plague and will consistently be in that high range, which, as we know, is bad. It is not in the range that your body wants to function at. it kind of stinks because you don't feel anything when you're high unless you're getting DKA, because it leads to those complications like I just mentioned. Your body needs to be in this finite range, and that is why you need to control your glucose, just like you need to control the temperature, you need to control your heartbeat. Your glucose ranges are just as important. Your body needs to function as a whole. Your integrative health is crucial for your survival and overall feeling like a great person. Along with every single monitoring system in our body, there are many different organs at play. But for your understanding, we're going to focus on the pancreas, which is the main organ that controls our glucose levels for us. The pancreas is part of the endocrine system, which is an organ system referred to as a messenger system for our hormones. So, to have a basic summary of this video, your glucose range is just as important as all the other things in your body. I really like to approach our survival as a whole bunch of balance. It's all about balance, yin and yang. We are alive because the perfect amount of variables are keeping us alive. When we are sick, something is out of whack. You don't want to be out of whack. You feel best when you get a golden hour of sleep. You feel best when you get a certain amount of water. Your glucose levels are just as important. And I will explain further on certain reactions that happen when your glucose levels are too high or too low, but it's just as important as any other balance in your body. In order for longevity and to have a good life, you need to control it. It's not healthy for someone to be dehydrated, just like it's not healthy for someone to be so hydrated that their blood vessels burst, okay? Diabetics have endocrine system dysfunction, and there are many theories of why you guys have too high of blood sugar. People relate it to the liver. It's mostly has to do with your pancreas, either insulin resistant or beta and alpha cell dysfunction, which are cells inside your pancreas. In the next couple of videos, I will be explaining how does the pancreas work, the diabetic pancreas, and things you can do to worsen or improve your diabetic status relating to your pancreas. This little chart right here, it's not the most simplified, but it is in aspects to things. It explains how your pancreas usually does keep your glucose within a normal level. And it's just like any other system in your body. The body is truly remarkable. It just wants to stay at this golden range. You feel best at a great range, so does your body. So I hope you understand why. How glucose ranges relate to the rest of your body functions, why you should take care of it. I will explain further more in depth the complications, but just like the style of all my videos, this is short and sweet, straight to the point. If you want to expand upon any of the topics mentioned in the video, there's going to be a separate video for it. So tune in for the next one for a more in-depth analysis of the pancreas.